one. All right.
Hello.
Well, we've beamed in today from Vulcan, and we are here today to wish you live long and prosper. And Lee can't do it because he doesn't have tape on his fingers. But we just would like to wish you a Vulcan New Year and tell you that we have stolen a Klingon ship and we are off to do some time travel because it's all in the mix, and we've got Star Trek 4, and with me is Lee and Ethan, and uh would like to find out what they had to what they figured, what they thought about this movie. Let's go to Ethan first, since he's on my screen first.
Thanks, Susan. Yeah, this one picks up not long after Star Trek 3. And this one is actually, it's a little different and a little more light-hearted than the last movies. It's got really good humor, actually. I have to say, watching this again, I really enjoy it. I really like it. I've always said the best Star Trek films of the original group are 2, 3, and 4, and each one's different. And watching this one again, I've actually forgotten how much I really like this one and how much it makes me smile. I mean, they come across. They're about to go back to Starfleet to face up for their crimes from the last movie and what's happened and stuff like that. And Spock is still trying to remember the past and what he's been through, and he still calls Jim Captain instead of calling him Jim like he always did because they were best friends. And they come across a group of aliens, this sort of aliens that are trying to communicate with someone or something, but it's a certain sound, and they can't decipher the sound. But eventually, Spock works out it's humpback whales, and unfortunately, humpback whales are not around at that time. So their plan is to stop these aliens from causing chaos on Earth and all these problems with all the starships and everything. They decide to do a slingshot effect around the sun and go back in time to the best era, 1986. Well, the 1980s, but 1986. So again, another great thing about this Star Trek film is the 1980s. And they have to get these humpback whales back to their time to communicate with these aliens and to just basically calm them down from causing all this chaos and say, there you are, there's your buddies. Now you can talk. And it's just brilliant humor, and you've just got some great funny scenes which I'll mention later. It's a nice story. It's a nice light-hearted Star Trek story, but it is what the team do best, and it's a real good, unlike some things where they'll push it right in your face, this one's a good ecological, I think I'm saying the right word, ecological movie. Look after the whales and stuff like that, but it does it in a correct sci-fi way. It doesn't push it in your face. It's a really good story, and like I said, you've just got some great moments with the team, Spock especially, which I'll say some certain scenes later, and especially Kirk, and one particular scene with Bones McCoy with a sweet old lady. And it's great. I really enjoyed this one. It actually, I believe this was you guys will probably correct me, but I'm sure it's like a trilogy of a certain story, with the second one, the third one, and then the fourth one. It's sort of like a trilogy in a way, because it sort of wraps up the whole story of like certain things and stuff. But yeah, I really liked this film a lot, actually. It's a nice, good, fun 80s movie. So good choice. Over to you guys.
Lee, what's your opening thoughts?
Well, what can I say? I differ with my favourite Star Trek movies compared to what Ethan liked. I admittedly Khan, Voyage Home, are two of the best in this series. But Search for Spock I wasn't so okay. But I've always got a soft spot for Final Frontier. I know it gets a lot of Stick.
I actually like that one, and
Well,
that's a good one. I'm
when
one of the ones who likes it.
when we eventually get to review Star Trek Five: Final Frontier, I'll go into it further. But we're talking the Voyage Home. Yeah, and Leonard Nimoy directing again. And it's good to see him back because I say in Search of Spock, he was only in the end of it. You did really feel his presence missing in Star Trek 3. Maybe this is why I'm not a big keen on that movie, but this one is back. All the crew are back. I said they've got they're in the Klingon bird of prey. They're out of the they're out. There are fish out of water in this sort of thing, or fish or whale in the water, but they are because they haven't got the Enterprise. They have to go back in time to San Francisco, isn't it, where they go? Um,
And they land and nobody notices that they're there. That's the
yeah,
cool thing about San Francisco. Go on.
well, yeah, well, but as you say, this is the most comedic out of all these movies, and the camaraderie and the backwards and forth from Spock and Kirk is so funny, and they're trying to cope with the lifestyle of 1986. What they're not even they don't even know what they do. They don't know what money is. They don't have money in the future, um, and things like that. It's a great film, and every one of the team has something to input in this movie. Chekhov, Uhura, Scotty, Sulu. They've all got, because sometimes in the movies they're just pushed to a side and it's just the main three characters. But they've all working together in this one, which is a brilliant. And it's a good idea. Whoever came up with this, let's put it in modern day San Francisco. Well, it was modern day back then because it was made in 1986, and we'll save on special effects. I think these were the idea was we'll save a bit of money here because we're not going to be out in outer space all through the movie. We're just going to be on the streets of San Francisco. No sign of Michael Douglas, but we'll. So do you want to you get that? You get that one there, do you? Yeah. But yeah, and as Ethan says, it's teaching. It's not preaching. It is ecological, but it's trying to teach the viewer about the extinction of a certain species of mammal or any animal on the planet, and they've just by chance they've chosen to do it through the humpback whale in this movie. And yes, whales are one of the creatures what are sadly more and more as days go by, years go by, extinction is nearer and nearer. But there's many creatures out there: gorillas, tigers, elephants, rhinoceroses, anything, and all down to man. And just by this movie, you would think the future of the Star Trek future. They've got no humpback whales. Come on, guys! Got to change the course, and keep these creatures alive. And this is what they was trying to teach, and it works. It does do the job. Uh, and for me to mix it with comedy, it's a big thumbs up. So yeah, I will go to favourite scenes later. But over to you, Susan.
All right. Well, yeah, this is the story of a bunch of military-ish people who have stolen an enemy spaceship and have decided to try time traveling with it. And it is an SJW film, really like nails it in your face. If we don't save the whales, we're all gonna die. Earth will be decimated by the power of the probe, and that's what it's called actually in Star Trek lore. They actually, Harvey Bennett, like the guy who produced this, executive producer, really didn't want it described too much. He didn't buckle under when when the studio uh, demanded subscripts. No, what's it called? Closed captions for the or subtitles for what the probe was saying to planet Earth. He never knuckled under about that. But then they, like the very next year, they went and wrote a book called The Probe, which basically was like, this is what we're saying. We're kind of, and so, I mean, like, they went there. But it's really good. It's really fun. It's got a lot of charisma. There are people who are just, sitting on the streets who are, become part of the thing. There's a woman who walks by even who is like, that's her ticket into SAG, into the Screen Actors Guild. She got in because of the one line that she does or the line response line that she gets in this movie. And so, it's just amazing, like really fantastic, fun. It's got all of it's got what's just a moment, what's his name? Let me see, let me get this here. His name is John Shuck, who was married to the woman who Leonard Nimoy married after he divorced his first wife. He married John Shuck, the guy who played the Klingon ambassador. So he married his wife Susan, his ex-wife Susan. So it's kind of like a small community of people there in the Star Trek world, even into their wives. And so, and Walter Koenig got his own theme, his own Chekhov got his own theme, his own scene, his own, Russians versus his Cold War moment. I mean, he was so proud of the work that he did. It was all his own running. There was no stunt people involved. He did all of his own stunts. Uh, Bill Shatner did all of his own stunts. Uh, they just saved so much money because all of the actors wanted to do their own stunts, wanted to do their own swim, their own fight, their own run, their own jump, all that cool stuff. And so, I mean, yeah, Walter Koenig was so. This was so important that because of it. They named the guy who runs the Stargate Walter in Stargate SG-1. So because of this particular movie, SG-1 had its great one of its great people, and it's amazing. It's like we blew up a ship in the last movie. We get this Klingon bird of prey, which is a really cool ship, and then they you know Sulu gets to fly Huey, which is like a little RC, and dangle a package of transparent aluminum underneath and like fly that, and then Sulu gets his own moment there, and then I mean, it's basically let's steal a bunch of ships. And so then they end up getting their own spaceship again. They got the Enterprise A at the very end, which is like fantastic. So I mean, and that's like, I guess you could say that's my favorite Enterprise. As much as I love the disco colors of the original, I love the Enterprise A. So, that's just my theory. That's just my feeling, not theory, my feeling on the subject. And Uhura and Scotty got cool moments too. And they introduce a wonderful scientist who was a marine cetacean scientist or biologist, and so that was cool. And so, yeah, I'll get to more of the cast and stuff later, but I'm really glad that we did this. Let's go back to Ethan for favorite moments, please.
Oof, where could I start? Because there's a lot of good moments actually. There's a lot of good moments actually. Um, I mean, I've got to mention, I do love the whole scene. Like, I think just about every bit where they're on Earth is really good. But I love it when they first arrive. And of course, they're trying to blend in, and the A's music kicks off. And that guy nearly runs Kirk over and says, watch where you're going. And he says that thing back. But I love it when they just like they split up. And he says, like, guys, just split up. You look like a cadet review. And then, of course, they're all like, well, what do we do? And they just go off. Um, Spock in it is just bloody hilarious. I just that he just looks like a karate master or something, like a proper old-fashioned kung fu martial arts master with the bandana around his head. And of course, the bus scene is brilliant. It's just hilarious where he knocks out that punk. Another Spock bit is when they're at the aquarium, and the woman's talking away about the whales and stuff, and he's jumped in swimming with this whale, and everybody's like, he's swimming with a whale. Trying to think. Oh, of course, I've got to mention. I mentioned Bones. There's a bit. I love the whole hospital bit when they're in disguise trying to get Chekhov out of it. But I love that little scene where he's probably not meant to do it. He's probably going to mess up the timeline, but he just sees that sweet old woman, and he says, "Here, just take this and call me in the morning." And then a few minutes later, she's like, "I'm okay. I'm doing okay," and she's lively as anything. And they're thinking, well, "How did this happen?" Of course, she's been given something that's not meant to be created just yet, but and she's healthy as anything. I did. I thought that bit was good. Very sweet, very sweet. Oh god, trying to think of other bits. I do find it quite funny when Kirk's actually trying to explain to the woman, like when they're in the car with Spock, like he's trying to explain they're from the future, and when she says, "Do you guys like Italian?" Yes, no. Yes, no. He's like, "Yes, and you'll like it too." Spock's just like, "No, no." As you mentioned, I actually like a bit in the when they go to get the nuclear energy on a ship that just so happens to be called the Enterprise, which is a real vessel, and that was quite funny. And you get some great moments with Chekhov on that bit and stuff like that. But yeah, I think those are my favorite bits because I'm sure there's you guys will have favorite bits. So over to you guys.
Okay, say my name though, Ethan.
Oh, unmute myself would help. Say your name, Susan.
Okay, there you go. That's the first time I've heard it in a cast in like I don't know if we've
Oh
ever
yeah.
said
Oh,
my
of
name.
course. Over to you, Susan.
All right. So, Lee, what's your favorite moments? Thank you, Ethan. That
Ooh.
was really great. I liked what you chose.
Well, I always giggle with nuclear vessel. You check off his pronunciation. Uh, um, I did like I was just giggling away to myself and many little things like when they go in to rescue Chekhov from the hospital and get him on the trolley, going outside, and the copper says to Kirk, did it go all right? Oh yes, he's pulled through. But you went in with a woman. One little mistake. The little things like that, and say the one with Spock and Kirk in the car. Just the comedy timing is just it's just brilliant. And when he says Grace is pregnant, breaks on the. How do you know that? She told me. But yeah, I mean, I did sort of feel sorry for Kirk as well at the end because he thought he'd found a new woman in his life, and she ditched him. He brought her from 1986 to the future. She got a job and ditched him. But also as well, the play on time travel as well with Kirk's spectacles. Takes it to an antique dealer in 1986. You know, but sure that was a present from Dr. McCoy to you. Yeah, and I can time travel. It will be again. Like, what was it? I'll give you $100. Is that a lot of money? It's just little comedy here and there in that, but yeah, it's brilliant. It's a brilliant movie, and Scotty as well with the talking to a computer, a 1986 computer. Oh, keyboards. Okay. But yeah, there's a few of them. But as I say, it's good the way as well with the ecological message as well, because there's not many movies that do this, especially a science fiction movie. Usually documentaries, yeah, but science fiction movie, not that often. It shows you all about good versus evil, taking over the universe or the galaxies. But this was saying, look, guys, you've got to save your planet. You've got to save the life on the planet. And they did it with a good, entertaining story. And you can see why fans of Star Trek always state Voyage Home is one of their favourites. You know, it's got everything. It's got science fiction. It's got comedy. It's got action. What more do you need? Oh, you've got Kirk and Spock together being a double act, and as well, he no longer he is an admiral because from the motion picture up to this one, he's Admiral Kirk. But by the end of it, they demote him to captain, and you see the glee on his face because he gets a starship again. So yeah, and that's what he's always wanted. So over to you, Susan.
Yeah, and then Sulu's like, I want the Excelsior, and and he's like, why? Scotty's like, why would you want that bucket of bolts? And and then Kirk go, somebody who said it, was it Chekhov said, if there's any justice, we'll get a or a freighter or whatever, and and then what? It's a great ship. So things that haven't been mentioned, because a lot
Yeah.
of stuff was mentioned. I love it when she's when he Scotty and Bones are trying to decide whether or not the 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 giving away of the formula for transparent aluminum would actually ruin the future, because they've done that. I mean, Scotty and Bones were there right after, or Bones was there during the Edith Keeler Must Die episode, the City on the Edge of Forever. So like he knows what fucking with the timeline is gonna do. He knows that it'll seriously, the Nazis could win the war or whatever. The eugenics war could have gone horribly, and Khan could be everywhere. Everybody could be Khan. That changing the past to alter the future has, I mean, and that's really what that's why that moment is so funny with, well, who's to say he didn't invent the thing? Oh, oh. So that was really comforting for them. And let's see, I mean, it because of the way you know you see Voyager, you at that point you haven't gotten that far, but if you keep going, that things are not going to go terribly wrong with this, especially. But at that point, you didn't know, so that was quite interesting. And some of the bits of in the ship where they are tootling around with delight and with glee, and then they did that weird thing of like the man falling into the drink. It was sort of a 2001 sort of moment. It was just weird, like people floating in
Oh,
and
yeah,
out of
yeah,
that
yeah. I was going to
liquid.
mention that the time travel bit where there was
Yeah,
all
I
the
forgot to mention that bit as well.
the body. Yeah,
The bodies morph into like the different team members, and then
Yeah,
you've got that one body that falls. I forgot to mention that was a good bit actually. That was quite an interesting bit.
yeah. So yeah, that was what you guys think it was inspired by 2001?
um, it could have been, but also it could also have been. Well, we've reviewed it as well. But the Black Hole by Disney Black Hole, that had similar scenes at near the end of the movie where they was going into the black hole and they were in the ship and there was like images and colors.
Yeah.
It's
All right.
but 2001 as well.
Yeah, I see I see the black hole now.
It's very, yeah, it's a. I mean, it doesn't last long, but it's really well done, but very trippy.
Very trippy. So let's see. Which of the two ships, the original Enterprise or the A, do you like?
Um, this is the what? This is the at the end of this one. They get the Enterprise A, don't they? As you say,
Yeah,
Enterprise A, and this lasts until Enterprise A lasts until when?
until the B, which is
Um,
the guy who was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off
Yeah.
was
oh yeah, 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 I remember him.
the captain of the B.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk dies or goes into the in Generations.
And that's Star Trek Generations. Um, I don't know. I mean, I'll always have a soft spot for the original.
Yeah.
Without
Hang
the
on a sec.
original.
I gotta show you this.
Oh,
Here we go. Taking this over. Can you see it?
oh yeah.
The blueprints.
Hmm.
How far along are you got along building it?
I haven't gotten any titanium or anything yet, but yeah, I thought that would be something interesting to see. Oh, I can't cover my camera.
You did turn your camera back round.
Right, 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 right. Okay. Anyway, I really love the A. The A is my Enterprise because it was so heartbreaking seeing them blow up the first one. You know, you can't once you
So many adventures on that ship.
yeah yeah. Anyway, so anything else, fellas?
Uh,
Ethan, do you want to say what your favorite Enterprise is,
Oh well,
or what your favorite
well the first
Star Trek ship is?
well I'm going to be honest. My first Starship Enterprise was the Next Generation with Patrick Stewart.
Oh, nice.
So I think I love both of them. I love the original. I've always got like Lee. I've got a soft spot for the original always, but those are my two favorites: the original and Patrick Stewart's one. I really that's just because I grew up with the Next Generation.
Nice,
I've always loved that one,
nice.
especially that one episode where they get Scotty, and you've got Scotty and Patrick Stewart's talking to each other, and he's like, "Oh, it's like the same ship.
Wow.
It still looks great." But he gets obviously transported to the future, so he doesn't know them. And I think it was the first episode. Was it a very? It was. I think it was the very first episode of Next Generation where I think
it was Bones.
Data. it's Data. Yeah, it's Data who's talking to a certain old guy. This old man is like, "Ah, you just messed it up. What are you, a Vulcan?" And of course, you work out the old guy's Bones McCoy, but under heavy makeup. And Data goes, "No, sir, I'm an android." Ah.
Well, yeah, I know it's somewhere in in the original Star Trek, but he can't die, can he, McCoy?
No.
Because of the one of the original episodes where he did die, but then they brought him back to life, and
Yeah.
something along that lines, and sort of made him. I don't know, but yeah, he was very ancient in that episode.
Yeah, super ancient.
Yeah, a load of makeup on.
So
And I do like in this as well, Spock trying to let's get an explanation out of Kirk about the 20th century expletives.
Oh yeah, on the bus. That bit
Well,
was.
is this the right time for an expletive, Admiral?
oh, the punk on the bus? That's actually the producer of the movie.
Oh, is that what's his name?
Ah,
What, have Bennett? Is it?
No, that was his name is uh
He produced it. Half Bennett. Uh,
name is Kirk. Where is it?
Tiberius.
Let's see.
Good Tiberius.
Kirk Thatcher.
All right. I didn't know that. That was a good thing.
That's the way he looks now.
All right. Oh, associate producer. Right.
Yeah,
The
he was like, I've got a band and we've done some punk stuff, so we'll write the music and then, I can be in this for this one little bitty scene. And so he wrote the music under the name Yellow Jackets, but it's like,
I have got a question for you.
yeah.
The probe, because we've sort of flitted across the probe, but we haven't really
All
gone.
right.
What is what was it? Was it a whale? Or was it had it visited the Earth thousands of years ago and contacted the whales? Because it was acting exactly like the whales were doing in the water, going up, tipping up,
Mhm.
and using the same language. Was it a space whale or something, or was it an alien probe?
Um,
Because it wasn't really explained.
it was
Yeah, it was like some sort of sphere with some device or something.
Yeah, yeah,
And
then it went back
from
in,
what
didn't it?
Spock
The
said,
whales.
he obviously said that whales have been around longer than
Mm.
humans.
hmm
So
So was it a creature
some
uh,
creatures that really visited
related
Earth
to
at that time,
a
and they were
whale? Yeah.
they thought, oh, these are the dominant species of this planet.
Mm.
We'll record that. We'll record their voice language. So of course, I think that's why when they get to Earth, they can't find it. So they're thinking, why are we getting these weird pink fleshed colored creatures talking? Where's the original owners of the planet?
Because
And of course, that's why the whales are the owners of the planet. Probably that's what it seemed to come across.
but also as well that the concept of the whale probe is a very similar concept to the Vija cloud in the
Yeah,
motion picture,
yeah.
because that was coming across the star system, destroying everything in its wake. Same as the probe was.
So it could have been the same species of aliens, like aliens that have been around for like billions of years.
Yeah, well,
And
we know what we know what Vija was.
But the thing with the probe was that wasn't a bad guy. It was like a, Spock said that the transmissions weren't supposed to be harmful,
Mm.
but it was like trying to, you know elicit a response from the planet, and
There,
then
there again, there again, Vija wasn't a bad guy either.
right.
Yeah,
So, but
Yeah,
the one bad guy in this was the whaling ship at the end, which
yeah,
was hilarious when the bird of prey uncloaked right in front of it, and the
I,
harpoon hit it and just kind
yeah.
of dropped.
I'll tell you something though. I absolutely love the design of the bird of prey. That it looks awesome.
It is. It is.
That I mean, and they, actually, you do see it close up,
Yeah.
and the detail because some in the old TV series you didn't really see the bird of prey close up and all like that, but in this, hovering above that whaling ship, the detail in it is just brilliant.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. But I'll let you read the book Probe if you want, if you would like to, know more about it. But it, it kind of is aliens, alien whales, but I don't I don't really think that they're exactly like Earth whales. But anyway, so I'll just let you read it.
I will look it
And
up.
uh, but the fun thing with the probe and V'ger is that they're able to make V'ger made a spiritual discussion able to be happen, and the this probe made the ecological discussion able to be happened. These are absolutely amazing, devices, and because they're super powerful, they are able to, you know, start the conversation, as it were. And that's my opinion. And I was just kidding about it being SJW junk because, you know,
I was going to say
I actually
back then they would have like it was better produced and a better story.
I really like SJW stuff. I like stuff that's in your face. I like activist stuff. And I'm only kidding. I really do love things that preach a good story because it adds to it. It adds to our narrative here, especially if it's done in science fiction. Because I mean, that's just the best stuff anyway. So I'm glad you guys watch this with me. And what would you rate this? And let's go back to Ethan. Ethan, what's your rating and your final say, please?
Um, I'm trying to think. To be honest, actually, I would give this a 10 out of 10 if I'm honest. A 10 out of 10. I really enjoyed this one a lot. So 10 out of 10.
Cool. And Lee, then, please.
Well, as I say, I enjoy this one, but there's two what I enjoy more. You know what I mean? Um, so I'm going to give this 8.75 nuclear vessels out of 10.
My, haven't we been estimating within a
Yeah.
fraction of error? Ethan, that he really thinks that your estimations are
Over the top.
no, are right on. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Um,
I always say if I like a sequel better than another sequel, I can't really score it the same. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I think
So it goes down a bit because I do like two more movies better than this one.
yeah,
So
I do love Rafa Khan, but both Rafa Khan and this one get a 10 out of 10 for me anyway. So
So good.
still a good movie. This one.
Well, I will give it 10 stolen spaceships out of 10. I will give it the Enterprise A, the Bird of Prey, the Enterprise B, the Voyager, the Defiant, the um, I'll give it V'ger. I'll give it a Borg cube. I'll give it a Romulan Warbird, and I will give it a
Excelsior.
All right, I'll give it the Excelsior. Fine. Captain Sulu's ship. Fine, 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 fine. Thank you for watching with us. Thank you for going where no one has gone before. We will revisit Star Trek when we get to one of Lee's favorite, Star Trek Five, and the
May just get some.
you just need tape. You just need to tape your fingers. That's okay.
I've just broken it. I think.
Oh no.
Just as well, I'm double jointed.
Well, you should maybe take one of those little pills that the little old lady had.
I can't do it. Look, that one there.
There you go.
Hey,
Yay.
No.
Join us for further hijinks and please like and subscribe, hit the bell, ding, and make sure thanks. And make sure that you beam in. Every week we've coming out with 2 movie and TV podcasts, and every other week we do the audio heads. And we're getting close to 100 of those, and we're way over 200 of the Saturday podcasts. We might be even close to 350 of them. So just encouraging you to subscribe and hit the notifications, because you'll like everything that we do. If you like the little stuff, you'll like the lot of it. So thanks for watching. Have a great one, and live long and prosper again. Bye-bye.
live long and prosper. Beam us up, Scotty.